Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to be discussing swing trading, right? Okay, first thing first, what you need to do, you just zoom out, right? So we're going to see we're having a market like this, right? So from here, what can we see? I see we had that high. Okay, let me use. We had that high there, right? And then we formed that low here, right? Then we know above each and every swing high, we have liquidity. So obviously here, so okay, so obviously from here, we knew we're gonna have liquidity here, right? Even below this swing low, there's liquidity resting below there. Understand? So from here, we know expect the market to run below, above that high, even here. And maybe in future, we can also expect that, right, in future. So now, if you can see, we're having it high, it drops, and then takes out that high there, right? So now we have a new high, which is this one, right? So this is our new high. So on a higher time frame, what can we see? Oh, it's our monthly, it's on our monthly. So we have that high, so that low above there, we're gonna have stops. Even here, even below there, you're gonna have stops, stops, you see. And now we're having a nice thingy. We have something like this. It's this thing. Is this my chart? Okay, never mind. But from here, we see we're gonna have liquidity above there. So even here, and then we will see if we use our thingy or fixed range from the lowest low to maybe the highest high. Let's take it from there. Yeah, let's take it from there to there. So from there again, we can use this thing to read this market, right? So before this market it dropped, you can use this thing, right? We can try to read this thing, right? So I always tell you, normally you're gonna be targeting where you see less volume like this. Here, obviously, you see there's nothing, you see. So I believe maybe in future we can come and run these levels. We can come and run at this, right? But so far, let me see, I think so far we ran up to this area. But if we can see again, right, we are still on our monthly. So overall, it's a bearish market. Still a bearish market, right? Just because we took that high, it doesn't mean it's gonna be a bullish, right? A bullish market, because we don't know the conditions of these markets. You never know whether it's gonna continue going higher or lower. But I wanna see it going lower because of what we have testing there. So reasons, we need reasons why this market did not go lower. If you use our fixed range volume, right, from there to there, okay, let's take it to current market price so that we see actually okay, even from here, right, you see there, remember I told you we having that trend line there. So already by reading what's happening here, I see again in future, we're gonna come around here, right? But you're still on our, it's still a bearish market, right? But we know for sure we're gonna be coming there. But now where are we going? I wanna see it maybe coming deeper at these levels there, right? Not that I'm gonna be buying when it comes there. Now I will see the specific things that I look for, right? For confirmation, right? I always confirm. Confirmation is important, right? So above there, we know in future we're gonna have that. So if we get a nice buy below, even if below that low, or maybe within there, we're gonna be targeting all those things there, right? So okay, if you wanna sit, come in here, right? And again, we're still trying to see spot liquidity that you could see on this higher time frame, right? Then you're gonna have something like this, no? So once you have something like this, so retail logic, we know we're gonna expect this market to do what's to come, maybe bounce here, maybe continue go higher, no? According to retail, right? But personally, what I know when I see something like this, then if retail, if you're trading using the trend support, right? Where is this thing? If you're using those things, obviously, if you're gonna be buying, your stops are gonna be below there, right? And maybe your target is there. So once your stops are here, the spot money, normally what they'll do, they'll come and hunt your stops, right? Even if it's there. I usually doubt, right? It might at least, and then if it wants to buy, it will go higher, but I doubt it's gonna buy here at this level, right? So when I see this, I still believe this market is still needs to go lower. So if it's going lower below this low, it's also coming at that area there. See this area and that the fixed range volume, right? So I believe it will still come at that level, and again it will still come liquidate below these lows, right? Then everything here we see it, but we're gonna use that when we on this market is bullish. And then we're gonna be targeting everything on the upside. For now, there's no reason to be buying these markets, right? Okay, so now we see it's a bearish market, right? It's going lower on a higher time frame. This is your monthly time frame, right? Okay. Now we can go to lower time frames. Okay, right. So now our attention is gonna be here, and even maybe below that low, we can even expect this market to come and run that low. Okay. So higher time frame, we are saying it's still bearish, right? Why bearish? It's because of here and then that liquidity that was here, right? Or even if maybe we take it maybe let's see. So here it's all about you need to think, right? Again, even if you put something like this, right? If it comes, they're gonna expect it to bounce here. So if they expect it to bounce here, the stops, they might be below that low. Understand? So that's how they can run from that low, right? But it's not a must for them to run for that low, but we want this here. So already from, I think, let me see, from there today, we did dip a bit, right? But I believe it's gonna go deeper. And then if we have this, it might come there, and hit that thing, it might even come there, right? And then support and resistance wise, we're gonna have something like this, right? Not that this thing is not working, it does work. According to the textbooks, we know we buy the stops, it's gonna be below, right? Not that this thing it won't work. It might even hold to the upside. It can. That's still possible, right? But I don't trust those kind of setups. I would only maybe trust it if it breaks here, and then I know for sure we did hunt to those stops. And then maybe if it continues going higher, that's okay with me. Understand? So we're still having this thing. You can still buy. It's okay, but I don't trust those setups. So what I will normally do, I would expect this market to come below, right? Then we see you are bearish. Let's try to zoom in and see if there's something that we could do. Okay, so here, still on our monthly, right? So this thing, it's simple because once we have that low, right? And then we have in that high there. So we know for sure, right? We know for sure it's a bearish market, right? And again, this was our protected high. I won't be mentioning why, but this was our protected high. There was no way we were gonna expect this market from this high to break higher, right? So that's our protected high. So what are we saying? You're saying this market it can do anything, but we don't want to see it coming here, right? So if this was my protected high, I was only going to be bullish after that high, not after this high. Yeah, I'm going to only be bullish if it breaks that high, and then I will be bullish, right? So we have that, and then we had this, right? So now what you need to see, we had this going higher, right? So that was a bullish market. You need to understand it as a bullish. This was a protected low. You see this one? It was a protected low. So it's something like this, right? So if this is your low, if the market is coming, if it doesn't break there, this is our protected low. This becomes our protected low if it comes there, right? Then once it trades below that protected low, right? It doesn't mean we are bearish or something because it can still hold at this one, right? So again, you need a confirmation, but normally once it takes out that protected low, and then we're gonna have supply zones here. We're gonna be having supply zones actually here. We're gonna be having a lot of supply zones here. So once it goes lower, you can use any of the supply zones, but there's a way in which you could see which one you need to use, right? But I won't go into details. What you can do, you can just look for supply zones, even if you take it, you look for that one specifically, because there's going to be the one on top, right? So if price it comes back to that one, that's where you're going to be going short, right? But here you'll need confirmation. And again, you need confirmation. You would see this is really your protected high. Like the price, it won't go further higher than that high. You need a confirmation to know, is this high really, really locked, right? Is it really locked, right? Then once you see it's locked, that's when you can trust what. Once it does this, you look for confirmation, you go short, right? So now we had that bullish trend. All right, candlestick wise, not institutionally, like candlestick, just focusing on the candles. That, and then if this was our protected low, which is this one, if they take it out like that, they go higher. Where are they going higher to? They are coming back. They are coming back to these things, the supply zones. right? If it was a bearish market, you're going to get the demand zones there, right? So they're coming back here. What you need to do, just need a confirmation here, right? Then once you get a confirmation, you can sell, right? And then when you sell in these markets, right? If you're going to be selling here, your target, it should be, your focus should be at least to run for that low. You understand that your focus should be at least you want to run that low, right? So you're gonna have something like this. Let me say maybe okay. And if it goes lower, right? Target it should be here, and that's where you should be taking your target. But if you have maybe liquidity below, after there, it can continue going to the downside, right? So now the idea is what it's for you to know. Now I won't be mentioning how you're gonna see if is this thing really a protected high, right? Then it takes out that protected low, which is this one. It drops, it comes back, and then your supply zones. Your supply zones is just the thing is it's just from here, right? You can just take it's either you can take this one, or even if you can take this one, but it's still in this range from there to there, right? Or if you take the 50%, that's why maybe you're going to be using this one. So either way, this one or this one, what is important is for you to see, to get the confirmation there, right? The confirmation would say it's going to be selling, right? That's the only thing that you need. I think that's the most important thing, right? Because you never know whether this thing is going to hold or not, because above each and every single high, there's liquidity there, right? So it was still possible for this market to come and hand that liquidity. That's why I say confirmation, right? So for 50%, if you're taking 50%, it's going to be from there to there. And then your 50 is going to be maybe from there, right? So this is on a higher time frame, right? So on our monthly, we have this, and 50%, it's that thing. So for refinement, you can take it and place it at the 50 level, or you can just take it and place it on that candle there. It's still almost the very same thing, one and the same thing, right? Okay, so now we are here. So once we are here, where is our target? I said to you, you're gonna be looking for this, right? You're gonna be looking for the market to actually run that low, right? To run that low. You're going to be looking for this market to actually come and run for that low there. I hope you understand, right? So meaning, I know for sure here on lower time frames, there was a confusion, right? When people, they started buying these markets there because they didn't see, once you sell there, obviously your target, it has to be below there. So if we are still selling, even if you didn't see this market there, even if you saw this market here, right? But your aim was to trade below that level, right? So still here, where I'm looking for your shorts until it trades below that low. So there was no reason for you to be looking for buys there. You buy, why are you buying on the bearish market? You understand? So now we see it's bearish. It's a bearish market, and then now we can move to your daily, right? So swing trading is not really that difficult. So now if you have that in our mind on a higher time frame, and we know we see this market it's selling, right? So what you will do, I think I have a video. This market, it was still around there. I did tell you with the, I want to see it coming below, and I think it was somewhere there. I'm not sure, but finally it did take that day when everyone they wanted to buy. As you can see here, the number of people who were buying these markets here, They did buy, but not to new highs because the order flow is bearish, right? Now on your daily, what you do, right? What you do on your daily. So already we know that you're bearish on these markets from there, right? So even on your daily, you can also look for the very same thing, right? Because if you see this market, it's bullish like this, right? We're having, right? And then we have that protected low at this area, right? It goes higher, and then it takes out that protected low, right? So from there upwards, there on top, what you're gonna be having there, that's why you're gonna be having those supply zones there. Understand? That's why you're gonna be having those supply zones. So if you're using a daily time frame, what you're supposed to do, once it comes back there, you can place a short there, and then you stop just above here, right? And then your target, we want to see it running below that level. So the target should be just below there, even a few pips below, right? And then from there on your daily, we can hold until it hits your target, you see. So it's easy. So when it comes to sync trading, it's easy. And then when you want to be adding your trades, okay, that won't be the part of this video, right? But that's what you're supposed to be looking for most of the times. Make sure you want to run that low. Then you see it's straightforward. Once you check what was happening there, once they take out that protected low, it comes, right? That's why you can be taking your shots. So this thing, it's on a higher time frame, right? It's on a higher time frame. You can place a stop there, and then you just hold until you see, just like that. Then let's take another pair. Then we have this one, monthly. Okay. From a monthly perspective, we have that high, we had that low, right? Then the market, it came and liquidated that low. Okay, so everything, it was bearish. I see some things that I won't mention, right? But everything, okay, it was a clean one. This one, it was obvious. But now let's get into details there. So now we see we had that, we have that, and then we had that low, right? Then we went higher, protecting that high. That was our protected low, right? That was our protect. So you see, same thing. If you can see, this thing is simple. It's not really that difficult. If we had that high again there, it's the very same thing, guys. Same thing. What's gonna be happening here? This is supposed to be, right? You're gonna have something like this. So on a daily, you're gonna see what we have on our daily there. In which we could sell this market and we target this low. Not that we want to buy at that supply as the demand zone. Yes, that's the mistake people do. They will be trying to buy, né? And normally what happens, break even, right? You can buy. Sometimes they take you out, sometimes boom, and then break even. That's what I know for sure, right? So here it's a bearish market too. Then let's just come to current market price. So if USD, if Euro USD was bearish, so obviously even this one is supposed to be bearish, right? So this one, then what was happening? Okay, this is still a supply zone, right? This it was a supply zone. So again, even this one, but this one is slightly different, right? Again, there was a confirmation for sure. I know there was a confirmation there, but once we sell, our expectation is to come, right? And maybe run that low. That's my expectation is to what if this market it comes, then maybe it runs that low, right? Let me see here what happened. Even here. So even if it doesn't come and run, it seems like because normally it can still, right? You know they're gonna be buying. I know they're gonna be buying, then the market can come. But when it comes, it might be coming to deeper levels, right? Then we continue to the downside. You understand? So same thing that happened where here at this level, we had buys, it did buy to deeper levels, and then came back, boom, to run the lows there. You understand? So the idea of these markets going higher is just to generate liquidity. You see those equal lows there? That was the idea of holding these markets here. It's just to make this thing visible to us, right? It goes higher, but not to new highs. Just comes here. We're going to be looking for a short. This was a nice one. This was a nice one to those lows. Boom. Right. So even here, this thing, it can also repeat itself here. We can still try to hold. Then it comes again. What is it generating? The equal lows. Then boom. Right. So even this one, it's bearish. We go to daily. Then on our daily time frame, this one it's straightforward already from here. Yeah, it was bearish from that zone, right? So this one is straightforward. I won't be wasting time. So what you do, okay, we know we're supposed to be selling that zone. Let me just remove this thing so that we have a clean thing. Eh? So again, even here, right? We do see that we have that liquidity above, right? But now we know because it's bearish. So they need to protect what those highs, they need to protect those highs. They need to protect those highs. Understand? They need to protect those highs. Understand? They need to protect those highs. They need to protect. So this one, it's simple. It's straightforward, right? Because from where? Even from here, supply zone. If you're gonna be having a supply zone, it's here. It's supply zone, right? Remember, if you're selling here, where is your expectation? It's here. What happened here? Injecting liquidity. You see, that's how they engineer liquidity. Why? There was this demand zone. It was like, nah, we are buying this market, but it was a bearish market from a bearish supply zone, right? So when they do this equal lows, what are they doing? Engineering liquidity. We know you're gonna come here, right? It comes deeper. That's where you wanna be selling, right? See if you still trade it, you can just buy it. You can just sell there using this time frame. The stop it's there, but for sure you know it's gonna run lower. You understand? So again, if you knew maybe from there, we see it was a bearish market. There was no need for you to even take your profits here because your expectation was to run the lows there, right? You had those lows, all the lows, right? But now, what you can do, okay, so it went lower, engineered that liquidity, right? Let's come to this one. Same thing. This thing, it repeats itself. This thing, it's been like this for over, I think it is over 100 years. This market's been moving like this, right? So now we come again here, right? It goes higher. It comes. What are they doing? They buy. When they buy, what are we injecting? Liquidity there, right? They go higher to deeper areas. This one, it got a nice shot. There are many ways in which we can get involved here, right? Personally, instead, I would sell. I would get a sell opportunity here, right? I would buy, and then I would also get a sell opportunity. Even here, a sell opportunity. Understand? So even here, I would also sell this one, this one, this one. Normally, I don't usually wait. I don't usually wait for these things, right? I don't usually wait up till it comes there. I get involved there because I have my confirmation. But if you check here already, it was coming where? It is coming from this supply zone, right? So it's simple, just coming there, protecting those highs for now. For now, we're protecting those highs, but not for too long because we're gonna have this, so we'd have to run above those highs. You understand? So it's been moving like that, right? You sell, right? But yeah, ways in which just like that's what I normally do on lower time frames. I don't take trade like no lower time frames. I get involved here. Why do I choose to do that? I choose to do that because I know below and above each and every single high, we're gonna have liquidity, right? So once I'm here, my expectation is here, right? I would sell, then I'll take my profits, right? Then when it's coming high, this is still a what? A swing high. So there's still a possibility that we're gonna be having what? The thing liquidity above there, right? So that's why I say confirmation here. So normally when there's no confirmation, it will go higher, right? That's why I always say confirmation. Even here, confirmation, right? But this one we saw from higher time frame, it was bearish. So you don't really need that confirmation. You can use this thing and generate a nice system, a nice trading system, right? It goes lower, it comes. There was a nice sell opportunity, right? And now the problem is what? We are busy waiting for what? So normally, see, you would want to see this market coming deeper, right? Like there's no need for that, right? That's why I say I want to be involved this side of the markets, right? So even here, there was a nice sell opportunity. Plus, this one is straightforward, but I won't get into details what was happening, right? So now the problem now, people are basically waiting for this. So that's how they missed the trade. You see this thing, it didn't even come back there, just kept on going lower. You see, so that's the importance of knowing actually how to move with the markets. Like when it goes lower, you go lower, you can buy, sell with confirmations though, right? So yeah, once we sell or expectation, because that one euro, what is that? Euro USD was selling. So even this one, this was supposed to be the target, right? So if you sold, you can swing trade at this market and look for what? For this market to come below this low, not to buy here, not to buy here, not to buy. You see, there's no reason to buy this thing. Already, it's bearish on a higher time frame, right? And on a higher time frame, we said it has a potential of coming here. It has a potential of coming here. So there's no need to buy. Then that's the importance of confirmation. You need a confirmation. But from there, I believe it's gonna come even lower. Liquidity there, right? Even when we place our thingy, our trend like this, those using the thing is this, the breakout. It's still okay as long as you can manage, right? As long as you can manage everything, it works. As long as you can manage those risks, right? So from here, I can see it can still come here because this is still part of that retail trend line. And when we take it and put it like this, we have something like this, right? So we can still try it. Say we can even come here, right? We can even do that. And here for now, for here, to be honest, you'll never know what's going to happen. That's why I'm saying confirmation, right? Confirmation. Then we'll know if we have to buy or we need to continue, right? But as it is going higher somewhere, if you get a sell opportunity, I'm going to be taking that sell, right? So already I see what to target, right? Already I see what to target because already they've injected what? This is the same thing, right? Liquidity below this level. How? We people now, what's happening? We buying, I think they're buying that level, right? Which is still okay to buy there. But now the stops are still below there, and then it's still a bearish market. So I believe if this one it didn't hold, I doubt if this one it's gonna hold, right? Given that we're still looking for this market to run that low, and also maybe to come and run there. So it's bearish, understand? So if you had that in your mind before this market even collapsed, so from there you're gonna get nice opportunities. Just swing trading, it's simple because just wait, you understand? Just wait. It's all about waiting. You're just gonna be waiting for this thing to come back there, boom, to the downside. Like now, others are waiting for it maybe to come back there, but I doubt. Why I doubt? Because if it's here and then we run the liquidity, if it comes here, what's the reason for this market to go low if already we've taken out the liquidity? You see, if we want to see it come here, we need a confirmation, right? What else? So I think we're done for this one. Then let's check where is this thing. Let's see how far he can run. Yeah, he can still run even lower at those levels there. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. See you in my next video. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to share the video. Yeah, see you in the next trading.